The agent archetype is based on our solar system, and back in 2011, when they got their Lost Sanctuary structure deck, it was a big deal. They even won the World Championship that very year. So agents have been a competitive deck in Yu-Gi-Oh's past, but at that point, back in 2011, of the planets that they had available, there were only 6 different planet cards. So players always figured that Konami would add more planet cards in the future, and that did happen, by the way. In 2014 we got a new planet card, which was pretty good, but nowhere near as good as the other cards in that set. It was released in Duelist Alliance, one of the most game-changing sets in all of Yu-Gi-Oh's history, so one random agent card did not make a big difference for agent players. That was the 7th planet card, which meant we were still missing one, and players were wondering when we would finally get it. Well, we waited and waited and waited with no word from Konami up until about 2 months ago, when we finally got an OCG announcement that said they were remaking the Lost Sanctuary structure deck. Now, Konami has been doing this for years. They've been going through all of the older structure decks and remaking them with more cards, although for whatever reason, like half of these structure decks don't end up getting released in the TCG, and we end up getting the OCG cards imported into a side set for some reason. I don't really know why that happens, but regardless, I'm pretty sure these cards will end up in the TCG at some point. I just don't know if they'll be in a dedicated structure deck. Regardless, I wanted to talk about these cards in today's video. I know that agents have a lot of fans out there, myself included. I played a budget agent deck back in 2011. It was pretty easy to make a competent competitive strategy with only $30 after buying 3 of those structure decks, and I played it a lot back then at locals, so I'm pretty excited for these new cards. These 3 new cards were revealed yesterday, and in today's video I want to go over all 3 of them and talk about their context in agent decks. I did want to quickly thank you guys for all of the continued support on Twitch. I've been streaming on there for about 4 weeks, and I just got accepted as a Twitch partner, which is really cool. I actually did commission for a subscription badge and 3 emotes when I hit affiliate, but they only just got completed yesterday, so I didn't have a chance to put them out there when I was an affiliate, but now they're out there, and we're going to be streaming tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and this will be the first stream as a Twitch partner, so make sure to come check it out. We'll be playing some gimmick decks or some fun decks. It's going to be a pretty exciting night, so I hope to see you guys there. Anyway, back to the agent support. We have the Agent of Life Neptune, the 8th planet card, which we've been waiting for about 7 years now, so let's take a look at what this card does. The Agent of Life Neptune is a level 1 light fairy effect monster with 0 attack and 600 defense. It says you can discard this card, special summon 1 the agent monster from your hand or graveyard, except the Agent of Life Neptune, but it cannot be tributed until the end of your opponent's turn. If the Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field or in the graveyard, you can special summon 1 Hyperion monster instead. If this card is banished, you can add 1 the Sanctuary in the Sky from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect of the Agent of Life Neptune once per turn. The question remains, will Neptune be the card that makes playing the Sanctuary in the Sky in Agents a good idea? It might sound crazy, but I don't think it's that bad anymore. The Sanctuary in the Sky does give many of your cards bonus effects, but in the past it was never a popular choice. The cards themselves were already good enough without it on the board, and sometimes it could be a bit of a brick. With Neptune though, you could theoretically play only 1 copy of Sanctuary and then search it out pretty easily. Remember, Hyperion not only banishes agent cards to special summon itself, but also you can banish light fairies to pop cards on the board, so Neptune is a pretty easy way to search out the Sanctuary in the Sky. The revival effect, even without Sanctuary on the board, is pretty great. It puts an agent monster on the board, and that does give you a lot more longevity. I'll say it right now, I think that Neptune will be played in upcoming agent decks. Will people play the Sanctuary in the Sky? That part I don't really know the answer to. At the moment, we only have 3 cards revealed. I'm sure there will be more, so we'll have to wait and see what those other cards look like before deciding if Sanctuary is worth playing. We also have 2 new new Hyperion monsters. So we have Majesty Hyperion, a level 8 Dark Fairy effect monster with 2100 attack and 2700 defense. This card is very clearly the inverse of the regular Master Hyperion. Let's take a look at what it does. It says you can special summon this card from your hand or graveyard by banishing one the agent monster from your hand, field, or graveyard. You can only special summon Majesty Hyperion once per turn this way. All battle damage you take from battles involving your fairy monsters is also inflicted to your opponent. Once per turn, you can banish one fairy monster from your hand or graveyard, then target one card in either graveyard, banish it. If the Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field or in the graveyard, you can use this effect up to twice per turn. Majesty Hyperion is very interesting. The modern agent deck doesn't really have a good follow-up in current Yu-Gi-Oh! But with these new cards, you do have some ways to get some recursion on later turns. I think the idea behind this card's battle damage reflection effect is to combo with Mars or Saturn. I don't know how good that would be, but I think comboing it with Venus is quite powerful. So you have Venus, you summon a bunch of Shine Balls in attack mode, you crash them into your opponent's monsters while you control Majesty Hyperion. That might be enough to win the game right there. This card might get more support in the structure deck, so I'm going to remain kind of neutral on it, but right now I'm not sure how good it actually would be in a real life situation. The Venus combo is hilarious, but is that really the best way to play agents? We'll have to wait and see. Finally, we have Master Flare Hyperion, a level 10 light fairy synchro monster with 3200 attack and 2600 defense. I think this card is supposed to be made with Agent of Mystery Earth and Master Hyperion or Majesty Hyperion, but there are plenty of other ways to summon it as well. It takes one tuner plus one or more non-tuner fairy monsters, so you do have to use non-tuner fairies, but you could use whatever tuner you want, and it says you can send one the agent monster or one monster that specifically lists the Sanctuary in the Sky in its text from your hand, deck, or extra deck to the graveyard. Until the end phase, this card's name becomes the sent monster's original name and replace this effect with that monster's original effects. When your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can banish one fairy monster from your hand or graveyard, then target one card on the field, banish it. You can only use each effect of Master Flare Hyperion once per turn. There are a lot of great cards to send with Master Flare Hyperion. Master Hyperion is a good card, for example, which does make sense, and cards like Venus could be good as well. Neptune and Majesty Hyperion are also great targets, so there are a lot of ways to use Master Flare Hyperion. That banishing effect, though, by itself is pretty strong too, so even if you aren't copying anything that crazy, you still have a pretty strong boss monster. Master Flare Hyperion is not the cover card of the structure deck. The cover card seems to be Majesty Hyperion, so this might not be the big centerpiece of the deck, but to me it does seem like a big reveal for agent players. Anyway, that is all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Once again, make sure to follow me on Twitch. I will be streaming tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, like I mentioned earlier, to celebrate becoming a Twitch partner. I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.